Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin Wheel International Coin Channel. And today we have this half-crown coin from the United Kingdom from 1947. And this is a huge coin. At the top you see it says Fid Def, or Defender of the Faith, Ind Imp, Imperator of India, or Emperor of India. Down at the bottom it says half crown 1947. And then we have this kind of hanging pendant here. So this is a shield, but it's actually hanging from a hook with a eye on the top that the hook holds it on. So it's not like, it's almost pendant-like. That's why I said that. It's a hanging shield, or sometimes they call it a suspended shield. All right, so what's the big deal about 1947? Well, the big deal about 1947 is that these coins were only made for 2 years, 1947 and 1948. This is, of course, the George VI. And over here it says, DG by the grace of God, Brit Omnirex, King of all Britons. And then down at the very bottom, down below his neck, you see, let's move it up here a little bit, you see the HP there. And that's Thomas Humphrey Paget who did this particular portrait. As we go around the edge, we see that it's a beaded outer rim, but these beads have actually become part of the rim. How big is this coin? Well, here's the 2-pound coin, the modern 2-pound coin with Queen Elizabeth II on it. And of course, this is the Shakespeare version of the 2-pound coin, and it's way smaller than the half crown. How much is a half crown worth in the old pound sterling? Well, it was worth 2 shillings and 6 pence. And so let's compare it to the 2 shillings coin. Here's a 2 shillings coin from 1947. Just a beautiful back on this coin. Don't you just love the crowned Tudor rose with the shamrock and the Northern Irish shamrock and the Scottish thistle here. And then, of course, this is something that I'm going to talk about on the half crown, so let's look at it on this one. Here we see G and an R, and that's for Georgius Rex, or King George. When we look at the half crown, we see it's quite different. It is a 2 G's that are kind of entwined. So can you see how this is like a G facing left and then entwined with a G facing left entwined with the G facing right, and the same on this side with these dots there. It's also crowned. So this is, it's some people call this a royal cipher, but it's really not. The royal cipher for George VI has the V and the I in it for the 6. So this is really more of an initial or a symbol than it is a royal cipher. Now when we start to make it bigger, we see that on this side of the shield, it's a quartered shield. In other words, there's 4 sections. This section and this section are the same. And it's these lions passons, and they're essentially standing lions. You can see the claws. You can see, if you get a real good version of this, you can actually see their faces. They are crowned. That's a crown on the top. That's why it's kind of prickly on the top of the head. So this is the English lions. This up here is the Scottish lion standing, or rampon, or rampaging. And then down here we have the Irish harp. And there's a really nice thing that George Kruger Gray did on this, and he put a little Irish shamrock right there. And how do I know it's George Kruger Gray? Because when I look way down here, I see a K and a G for George Kruger Gray. Now, those of you who collect coins from the British Commonwealth are probably well aware of George Kruger Gray. And actually, this coin here, the 2 shillings, is actually a Kruger Gray also. We see the K right there and a G right there for George Kruger Gray. And then I'll show you one that you're probably well aware of, but you've probably maybe have forgotten. And this is an older coin. It's the Beaver 5-cent coin from Canada. You see the maple leaves here. And there's the KG on that also. So George Kruger Gray engraved numerous coins, and he had all these little kind of design things that he did. And one of the things that he did on this one, a design thing that he did was, look at that 7 on the 1947. It's just very weird. That's as weird a 7 as I've ever seen. So see how it kind of comes down and tips, and you go, okay, well, I mean, maybe he just did that on that coin. But then when you look at the 2 shillings, same 7, that kind of tipped 7. So that was part of his stylization. And it's interesting because if you look at the other numbers, none of them are really stylized very much. The 1, the 9, the 4, and the 7, really not stylized at all. How much is this coin worth? It's worth a few dollars. Maybe sometimes in the United Kingdom or in England, you can get these for less than a pound. They made a lot of them. They made 92, almost 100 million of 93 million of them in 1947 and 1948. Even though they only made 21 or 22 million in 1947, it's not a huge value coin. Why is that? Well, the reason that is because the 1946 are the ones that are collectible. 1946, we still had silver in the half-crown coins. 1947 was the first year of the copper nickel half-crown coins, and so the copper nickel ones are the ones that everybody collects because they're worth a lot of money. They're not worth a huge amount of money. The silver ones are the ones that everybody collects because they're worth a huge amount of money, but not huge, but $6 or $7 in silver. Remember that the half crown by 1946, the silver ones are only 50%. So they weren't sterling silver. They weren't 90+% silver. They were only 50% in 46. But still, they're worth a lot more than the 1947s. The 1947, they only made it in 1947 and 1948, and that's because they had to take India off the coins after 1948 because India gained its independence. So this Imperator or Emperor of India was taken off in 1949. Are these still good? No, you can't use them anymore. In December 31st, 1969, actually a year before they went to decimalization in the United Kingdom, they'd been trying to take these off the market essentially for years and get them out of banks and get them out of circulation. In 1969, December 31st, they said, no more. You can't use these anymore. We have decimalization coming in a year, and we just don't want this coin around. How much is it worth in terms of a pound? It was worth 1/8 of a pound, or half of in the United States would be half of a $0.25. This was worth half of a quarter of a pound, or 2 shillings and 6 pence. So if you had the 2 shillings, you simply had to add 6 pence to it, and you would get the half crown. All right, well, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you have in the comments section.